everybody and welcome back to Aussie Starcraft. Now, today to celebrate the fact that it is our 100th video, we will be doing something a bit different. Instead of casting tournament or pro replays, actually be casting one of my own replays off the arcade. So, as a lot of you are probably aware, this map is called Squadron Tower Defense. It's a bit different to your traditional tower defense maps, but a very fun one where you get a builder, you build your towers, and these towers come to life and are going to fight the evil minions that come spawning out of these vortexes at the top. So bad units will spawn here and fight their way down. You will naturally try and defend against them. The first wave, it's just some simple zerglings. And I'm using a custom builder in this map, so it's got a mix of random different races. You see it wasn't very difficult to clear the first wave, but I'll just take a moment now to introduce our players. This is me in the top right, Aussie Starcraft. Top left, and one of my teammates, we have Mattiazzo. Down in the bottom left we have Matthew, and in the bottom right we have Smallpox, who's also one of my mates. On the other team against us, so it is 4v4, we have Vivi Paul Vivi, or just Paul. I think we might go for just Paul. We have Striker, we have Shredder, and Dreagle. So it's important to note, you actually cannot see your opponent's stuff. Normally the minimap's divided and you can only see friendly units, and the opponents can only see theirs. What you can see, however, is when units like this, and you'll notice I went a little bit risky in that round. I tried to go without spending any money, and they sent a Zealot, which we'll talk about sends in just a moment. That managed to break through. So any units that do break through, like these, come streaming down the middle and meet the surviving units from the other side. So your other teammates' units, after they finish killing the things that face them, they come down here to the middle and try to save the rest of the team from dying. So as you'll see, our allies, Smallpox and Mattiazzo, are able to save us there. This is the last bastion of defense, this giant Thor called the security system. If that dies, your whole team loses. So the objective, of course, is to kill the other team's security system. Now, I've built an infantry. These things upgrade into some pretty cool range units, and throwing down another proton to try and make sure that no more units sneak by. Now, these buildings over here, this one's your overlord or supply depot. It controls the amount of units you can build. See, I've got 8 of 10 supply at the moment. Supply is also taken up by this Vespene producer. You see, every time this bar runs down, I get a point of Vespene gas, which I can use to send units. I can upgrade the speed of the refinery and the amount of miners mining. So I can get up to 30 upgrades, which means every time that ticks and that bar gets to the bottom, I'll get 31 Vespene gas. And the refinery speed increases the rate at which it harvests by 40%. So not bad at all. You see the opposing teams leaking a little bit here, but don't expect the world to end in round 3 in this game. So generally not a short round. Rounds can take anywhere. Oh, I'm upgrading a proton to an adept. Level 2 towers have much more damage. As you can see, it does 100 damage as opposed to 13 on the base unit, but it is a bit more expensive. And they also have cool units, which this one charges up and it gets a massive attack speed bonus, so it's quite good when it charges up. It can do a lot of damage, and so that's why I went for the upgrade along with the health to help sort of tank a bit more damage. And you'll see when it gets to full health, yeah, it just zaps 2 or 3 guys in quick succession. So I'll explain the spawning pool and the roach warren. These are your sends. The spawning pool's your small sends, and the roach warren's your large sends. For the spawning pool, if each of these units you send, you'll see it increases your income, +2 income for a zealot, +4 for a titan strider. Now, what you can't actually see, maybe if we go to my view, we can see this is my income level up here. So I'm getting 4 bonus income a round, plus any round finishing bonus, and my towers are worth 280. So it gives you a few indicators of how you're going. You'll notice I increased my Vespene gas. So the main reason being, the more gas you have, the more units you can send, and the more you send, the greater your income each round. By the end of the game, the income should be 400 or 500 depending on the length of the game, and that means you're getting quite a lot of extra dosh. Every time you send a unit, it gets sent down into this little pool and collects here until the next round starts. When the round starts, turfs them all at the enemy, and then you hopefully kill their security system. But unfortunately for us, this game was actually quite an even game. There were some new players and experienced players on each team, and as a result, the game went on for quite a while. So it was quite a good round of tower defense. Now I know a lot of people have played tower defense. One of the reasons I wanted to cast it almost never gets cast, but it is one of the most popular games on the North American server. And it has been for a long time. Something like 45,000 sort of review votes. So that's quite hefty, and I think it represents quite a lot of time spent by a lot of gamers enjoying it. They do periodically add new races to it. There's lots of different game modes. They've added a few recently. For example, you can use a race and get a racial bonus, or you can use a custom builder mix and match but lose the racial bonus. There's also different game modes, like standard mode where you pick your race. There's chaos mode where every round every player gets a different builder, so you literally cannot plan except for each round by round. You can't go in with a particular build, so it's popular amongst people that don't want to come up against other people's sort of structured pro builds. Then there's Chaos Refined, which means it puts everyone on exactly the same footing because every player gets the same builder each round. So, for example, you'll all get the Beast builder, or you'll all get the Automaton builder. So it's quite. I play Chaos Refined most of the time because it's fun to go up against people where you're fairly evenly matched. So of course we're up to. If I just pop it back to my vision for a minute. Where am I? 7, apparently. If we pop it back to my vision, my income's now up to 10, or 9, sorry. I had a bit of a rough start with that leaking part of Wave 2. These Zealots, this is always a bit of a damage dealing round. If you go for too much gas, these Zealots will be able to hack through you and you'll lose out on a lot of income. Of course, every time you leak, you don't get the income from killing units and you can get further and further behind. So everyone in our team doing pretty well at the moment. You can open the scoreboard. Oh, no. Apparently the scoreboard doesn't open on a replay. It's a bit of a shame. Because you can see how much everyone's leaking. For example, the other team, if we go back to the normal vision, we can see they're quite gas heavy. Some of them are already up at 3, which explains why, and 4, which is why they were leaking. Went a little bit too gas heavy and we sent quite a few units. See, here's where the Zealots and Zerglings and Roaches are pooling. Now they'll randomly be allocated to an enemy lane at the end of the round. That's me trying to decide what I'll spend my money on. If I flick back to my view, we'll let you see the game as I see it. Now the 8th round is Reapers, so Reapers pretty good, but these Adepts, the upgraded Protons, very good at dealing with those. And I'm able to slide through into round number 9, which is going to be what's called exotics, and you recognize these from some of the maps. They're large woolly mammoth-like creatures, so we're actually in a little bit of an advantage at the moment. We're consistently leaking Striker. Striker, unfortunately, a little bit greedy and paying the price for it now. His tower's not quite worth the same as everyone else. We can see he's got a few Mega Zerglings, but he's got no real range units. These Aberration Pulverizers, though, are quite neat. They stun things in an area of effect, so quite useful. But the Zerglings on their own are certainly not a long-term strategy. They are good. They do slow things down and reduce the enemy units' attack speed, but that on its own is generally not enough. You'll see me starting to gear up. The next round is a boss round, round 10. We face a giant infestor. So this is me trying to conserve a bit of money because I know that I've got to upgrade this infantryman to have a hope of killing the infestor. So up to 120 plus the round end bonus when these last 2 units get taken out. You'll see I have 169 and I elect to spend it on upgrading this guy to a Zeus. Zeus do a pretty solid amount of DPS, one of my favourite range units in the game, though the Pyro unit, that's the other option, certainly not a bad choice either. The Zeus's special ability is whenever he gets 10 energy, he does lightning that deals 65 damage. So it's quite powerful, does a massive burst damage. You can see everything just hacking away at this, though my units are dying quite quickly, but the Zeus provides the extra little bit of damage to wear its way through. Different people go with different strategies. The Infestor's slow but powerful, so some people will try and spam lots of little units, other guys will go for a high DPS and try and take it out. This Proton Zeus strategy I'm going with is quite DPS but not very resilient, and you'll see that come into play over the next couple of rounds. We'll check out some of our compatriot strategy. Smallpox there, unfortunately, the Infestor made it through his line, but we'll see that his line is tailored towards other things. So a bit of a fluke really that it got through with that low health. It's just me giving Matthew a bit of advice. I don't think he know. I think he might be newer to this game. His vest being gas, not being upgraded at this point. If you don't upgrade your gas at all, you will find yourself significantly behind later on, because players are making 200 or 300 minerals a round off just their income bonus from the game. There's also a lot of one of the other reasons I like Squadron Tower Defense. It's got massive amount of strategy in the things that you send. For example, sending certain units on certain rounds is much better than others. For example, well, these little fodder units are all pretty normal. Things like the Mutalisk cause targets to run away. The Medic will heal biological units. The Marauder's just your fairly regular tanky damage dealer. The Goliath does boost everything's damage. Here you see me throw down a Vanguard. I know I'm going to need a bit more tanking power as we get into these next few waves. The Hydralisk wave, as you'd be familiar from the game, Hydralisk quite good DPS. So this Vanguard will be an attempt to sort of tank all the Hydralisk damage and still do enough with my other guys to make it through the round. The Vanguard goes down, but the Zeus and few Adepts are going to be able to ride their way through it. You can see Smallpox going for the Dark Mage, which buff all his other units, things like the Grizzlies and the Soul of Heroes. Matthias is just a machine. He's already on 8 gas, so his income was considerably better than most of the players in the game at the time. And that's sort of evident in some of the things he starts sending. You can see he's got a couple of Roaches and a Marine in there already. That's going to provide him a substantial buff. If we check on our enemies, we have Striker, the Beast build, still going strong. We've got Shredder, who's doing quite well. He's also going a custom... straight Shadow builder. I thought it was a custom builder for a minute. We have Jeregal, who's going the Automatons. Automatons are very good. You've got a prestige to unlock them. But they're quite a good unit. And we have Matthew, who's going for the Phantoms, which they're pretty cool. They damage multiple units, but you got to be careful, as once you get up against the single more powerful units, you can end up quite a bit behind, because they do lots of little bits of damage, not enough single punches that take out your enemy. Now, if you're wondering why I threw down this sniper in the front, purely to tank a little bit of damage. Sorry about the yawn, bit of a late night last night. But yeah, the infantry is just to tank the damage so the Immortals can't get through to the Zeus. I know that if my units can stall long enough, the Zeus will be able to kill everything, and indeed that was the case. So you'll see me actually sell that second infantry momentarily. We noticed Shredder having a bit more trouble with the Immortals. Immortals, classically a difficult round. You can see quite a few of our players leaked. Immortals are one of the earliest rounds in which you can plan to win the game, round 14. Most people will sort of gear their strategy towards a particularly nasty send on the Immortal round. That way you can sort of upset the enemy's balance and hopefully kill their security system. So I've just dropped the Spawn of Dragon, which is one of my bigger units, and it upgrades into quite an impressive looking, well, not very dragon looking monster, but it's quite powerful and does massive damage. So this custom builder, the sort of strategy I'm going for but haven't really put in the time yet to balance it out fully, is low tier but decent DPS units like the Zeus and the Protons to carry me through until I can start to get Spawn of Dragons. And then once I've got Spawn of Dragons to do my DPS and tank, I get some support constructs which can heal them. I don't think there's any in play just yet, but in a little bit we'll see me throw down a few of those World Tech support constructs, and that way they can heal up things like my Templar and my Spawn of Dragon, keep them alive much longer. Other players are going to end up with 30 or 40 towers. We'll end up with more like 20, but hopefully it'll be enough clever little combinations to carry us through the game. So if we go to my income at the moment, sorry, we'll swap to my view. You can see that my income's now up to 64, so pretty much every round I'm earning enough bonus income that I can throw one in gas, which is always good. You want to keep your gas income up. You can see my World Tech Relay, it heals for 10 plus 0.25% health each second, which is quite good. It means the higher the base hit points, the quicker it will heal. So the idea being you get a lot of these World Techs and a high HP unit, and they can tank really, really well. So that's what I'm trying to do. Over here we have Matiazo. He's already got an Executioner, which is pretty much the best automaton unit. So he's doing quite well. These Carbien prototypes are quite interesting. They can actually damage themselves when they fire. If you look at this, it says high DPS, but their performance can vary, and what it means by that is from time to time they'll actually damage themselves. So a bit of an interesting little option there. You can go high DPS, but you can actually kill or damage your units, which is always dangerous in a game where you've got to get your units between you and the enemy. So guys, I'd just like to take a moment to thank everybody for tuning in to Aussie StarCraft. We are just a very new channel, not been around a lot of years like other people, but just getting started out. Wanted to thank everyone for your support. Already got quite a few subscribers and starting to rack up a few views now, so I hope you're all enjoying the content. I am trying to put it out nice and regularly. One of the things I hate is when I go to watch content on some of the other channels and they go 4 or 5 days or a week without uploading anything new. So I'm trying to put something up every day or every second day at the worst. So there's always something new for you to check out when you come to the channel. So we really appreciate you taking the time to watch the videos, and I hope you're enjoying them. If there's anything we can do to add to the videos or mix things up, I know a lot of you have been putting comments down below to help adjust the settings and get the optimal viewing experience. Really appreciate those. Appreciate any feedback you do have, and remember we do have a Facebook page for Aussie StarCraft. Feel free to sign up and like the page. That's where we organise fun community games like this, and also notify whenever new videos go up. So if you ever want to take part in one of these arcade games or even just play some fun StarCraft with me, you're welcome to sign up to the Facebook page and we'll take care of it from there. So we are going into round number 19. So round number 20 is going to be another boss round. So round number 19, just pushing my gas up a little bit more. I've got a few more of these welder units as well as a couple of Spawn of Dragon. It's really time to get the upgraded dragon, but unfortunately I just have been flat chat on money this game, not able to quite get the income I'd normally have. Like you see Matiazo, he's at 15 already. I'm still only on 12. Matiazo actually was ahead of pretty much everyone in the game, I think. Over here we have 10, 9, 4 and 13. So Paul's not doing too badly. Over on our side we have Matthew trying to catch up. He's on 9, me on 13, Matiazo on 16, and Pox or Smallpox on 12. So I think we've got a slight edge on them economically speaking, which is always good. Helps us send a lot more units, because this game all about the big send. If you can buckle their defenses and kill their security system, you do win. Failing that, it doesn't just go on forever. After round 30, if there is still players in the game and you haven't managed to destroy the enemy security system, round 20, this boss round is a fatty, very funnily named there, but the fatty just ploughing his way through it. Unfortunately, I didn't have quite the DPS left to kill this thing. It still survived with 1,000 hit points. The reason for that is I was going for, and smallpox has got through too. I was going for a strategy where my units heal, but when the fatty's doing 200 odd damage a hit, then it's pretty hard to heal that quickly enough. So these two fatties have broken through, causing a bit of a problem for our team. We've killed one, but my fatty is still going strong. It is getting down to our security system, and you'll see how quickly it damages that. The shield's already going, eating away at the hull. You can upgrade your security system to make it a lot tankier, and you do see we threw down a few weapons upgrades that time to boost the damage to 125. The basic damage is actually only 50 or 60, so we threw a few of those upgrades on just to make sure we didn't die to that fatty. I've actually thrown down an aura, which is the upgraded prophet. This is one of my favourite DPS units. They start with 200 basic damage, and every time they either attack or kill something, they get plus 5 damage. So if you attack and kill something, it's plus 10, and you'll see his damage just steadily rising here. If we click on him, you see 75, 95, 115, 135. It just rockets right up until he's getting his maximum plus 150. So he's hitting for almost 350 damage at the moment, which is quite a potent little punch. So we'll progress through to the next round quite safely. And you can see me here trying to strategize with the team. Say drop a lot of mothership cores. They buff all the other units, and the Ares round is a really good round to do that in. It's a round where there's a few high-powered units, so if you can buff them up, it's quite a good chance that they'll be able to wreak some havoc. I finally grabbed my first dragon aspect, so you'll see how tanky this thing is. We can't zoom in that far, but it does only 100 damage a pop, but every 3 seconds it does splash damage of 300, which is quite impressive. Imagine in game if you had something that did 300 splash damage. It does quite effective little AoE and will clean up the units quite substantially. So we're moving into round 23, I believe. Yep, the Ares round. So we've got everyone trying to drop a few mothership cores. These are mine. We have Matiazo sending a Thor, which is always fun. And it looks like our allies decided they would just keep their gas for a little bit longer. So what about you guys? This guy's just ripping through. See us, we're doing fairly well over here too. But yeah, what's your favourite arcade game? There are a lot of arcade games. I know Imber League's quite popular. I quite enjoyed it myself. Right before this game, we played an hour-long Imber League game. I'd love to upload that. Just depends. Casting and commentating that might take quite a while. It was a fairly lengthy game, but if I get a chance, I'll try and upload that one later on. So going up to 18 income now. Matiazo already at 25, so he's got a substantial lead on us at this point. Then we have 17 for Smallpox, our other ally, and 10 for Matthew. So Matthew bringing up the rear there, but I think it was just learning. So it's when you're playing this game to start with, first focus your energy on not dying, building enough towers, surviving. As you get better and you notice you're surviving quite easily, the next thing you focus your efforts on is trying to survive whilst increasing your income. See, for example, if you increase your income too much, well, not that Shredder has, but if you increase it too much, then sends like these Broodlords will just rip straight through. So wave 24, and I think we're leaking them quite substantially. 9 units got through. That's what these counters are here. And you can see our security system's still a little bit damaged from the last time we leaked, but it does slowly heal, and you can purchase upgrades to make it heal a bit quicker. So going into wave number 25, now at wave 30 we will face our third and final boss. After that we'll face these waves of Terratrons. If we can hold, once it gets to the Terratrons, your units stop respawning, which is quite important. As you can imagine, everything that dies in your average round generally comes back. From wave 30 onwards, that's not the case. And so, yeah, these hybrids quite powerful, but certainly nothing on the wave 30 units, the Terratrons that kill your stuff and make it so they can't come back. It does put a bit of a finite end time on the game, which isn't a bad thing. As you'll see, this game's been going for 36 minutes, quite a close game. And we're starting to make a little bit of ground on them, though. We've leaked them most rounds with a unit or two, and just trying to do that consistently will harm their income. If you can do it enough that you can win the game outright, that's great. If you can't do it, just try and strategically and repetitively leak them so that you get a bit more economic edge than they do. Because every unit they leak, they don't get money for. Their allies that kill it get a little bit of money, but it really is only tiny compared to the amount you'd get if you killed it yourself. So you can see now I've gone up to 3 dragon aspects. These things quite tanky. My welder's welding full time there, trying to keep things alive, and doing an alright job of it. Not too bad, but not too great. Got a Thor and a siege tank there as well, but managed to clean those out. So I was feeling pretty good about things in wave number 27. I finally started to catch up to where Mattiazzo was the other day. He's been maxed out on income at 31 for quite some time, but still hasn't grabbed the last speed upgrade. So actually not as far behind as I would have thought. I'm just a few gases behind, and then if I take my final speed, it'll be all finished on my upgrades. I wonder if Mattiazzo took that at all during the game, because I suspect his income wasn't quite as high as it should have been. So dropping a few more weld tech units, make sure we can. You notice I did supply block myself there. These things aren't building, so I've got to try and quickly do my supply depot. It does take 5 seconds. It allows me to finish those units and meet the coming wave head on. And we have these, what are these called? The Predator units. They're quite tough, 1,000 hit points each. They do a fair bit of damage, but you'll notice that my dragon aspect's tanking a massive amount of damage and giving quite a bit back as well. So you really do get all sorts of different units, different abilities. That's one of the reasons why the game's so popular. As you can see, these are mixed units from about 4 or 5 different races. You can play it like this, you can play it with one straight race. There's just so much versatility between the 8 or 9 factions in the game, combined with all the different send options. You have, combinations of offense, combinations of defense. You've got strategy in what you send and how you defend, and even how you position. Unlike most tower defense games, it's not really based on making a funky maze of towers and terrain. Mainly just a straight out, what would you like? Can we pound our way through the enemy? It's different in that respect, in that it allows for that rather than the traditional tower defense, which is all about building the cleverest maze you possibly can. So we clean through that quite easily. There's wave 29 coming up, which is the second last, so we are drawing towards the end. I know it's been a fairly lengthy cast, guys, but just wanted to preview a game of this that went beyond round 5 or 10. I had a few games in a row before this where people either bailed out really early, or the game ended at like wave 8, and I thought that'd be disappointing. It wouldn't quite give the full Squadron Tower Defense sort of experience. So I thought we'd do this one, make sure we got that. You see me throwing these weld techs down with abandon. Now that we've got 4 aspects, we can just heal them repetitively. There's wave 29 up against these Zukars. You'll see they're quite powerful, 1400 health, and they do hit for 230 damage each. So they're doing a bit of damage to the dragon aspects, but the healer's able to take most of the tank there. So we're going up to wave 30, and if we put it back on the everyone view for a minute, we can see I'm maxed out on gas. Mattiazzo also maxed out. Smallpox just grabbing his last speed upgrade now. Matthew electing to go for lots of upgrades but not lots of Vespene amounts, which isn't a horrible idea, but it's not the best idea either. You want to upgrade both your Vespene amounts and your gas in synchronous with each other. So we've got our opponents that are on 30, 16, 31 and 13. So a fairly even income game from both sides. This is wave 30, so this is my second last opportunity to build. After this boss round, I will get to drop my final units, and we'll see how we fare against the Terratrons. But even this boss unit's fairly nasty. You'll see it's a Brutalisk. It deals 700 damage a hit, and my healing strategy not working for me here. It just rips through everything in pretty much one hit, so there's no time for anything to heal it. Smallpox, on the other hand, going for these solar villains, which allow his damage to multiply quite effectively. He was able to take it down quite easily, whereas these guys are stuck trying to these guys are stuck trying to carry me, which is not the funnest position for them to be in, but my strategy does work well on the normal rounds, and we'll see that at play now. Now that we're in the Terratron rounds, you'll see each round more Terratrons will spawn, and all we have to do is survive. The first team, as your towers don't respawn, the first team to physically die, as in when you lose all of your towers, you will be eliminated. The first team to have all 4 of its players eliminated is out of here. So we'll see Mattiazzo is quite a lot of these executioners and things. He's doing quite well for himself. First Terratrons spawn on our side, and we do just eat right through them. Over on the other side, these guys are doing alright. But you can start to see the effect of the lower gas income. They have a lot less units, and we'll see that particularly at the start of next round before units spawn. Each round the Terratrons get more and more difficult and dangerous. There's more of them, they do more damage, have more health, so it does put a very finite time limit on the game. See, this time Terratron's 3000 health, 271 damage, quite powerful. You'll notice this time they've started chewing through my dragon aspect. Matthew is the first to bite the bullet. He just died, and his Terratrons are streaking for our security system. We were able to clean up. We did lose one of our aspects there, but Smallpox also eliminated, but Shredder eliminated on their side too. So we're pretty much 2-2. Each team lost 2 players in that second round. Going to the third round, and the third round just about always breaks people. So right now we're building up the biggest send we can. You can see they've thrown down 5 Thors. We've thrown down 5 of our own Thors plus some Broodlords, and because we're the only 2 left on the right hand side, we're going to have to take all this damage. So if you can see though, blue's already gone, purple's almost gone, the last few of his units dying right now. There goes Striker, and there goes Paul V, which means we win. The 4 of them have died. If you check out on our side, we are still alive, even though it's by the skin of our teeth, and we've just been victorious. So Mattiazzo there carrying the team for a good deal of the time. These guys finally hacking through my dragon aspects. Upon these guys' death, we would have been rolled up fairly quickly, but we managed to win it by probably only about 10 or 15 seconds grace. So it doesn't look like it, but quite a close game of Squadron Tower Defense. Normally you'd see units come down and kill the security systems, but because we got so far into the game, they never really got too attacked. One of them lost about half its health, but apart from that, it was all good. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little celebratory cast. It's 100 games on Aussie StarCraft, so a little bit of a milestone. Looking forward to many more fun games ahead. Go ahead and contact us down below if you'd like to play, or like us to feature one of your replays. Also, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Hope you guys like Aussie StarCraft, and we'll catch you in the next cast. Thanks, guys.